Hi, so welcome to day 3 of our September challenge. So this is more of a calming flow, just to slow down the heart rate. Quite nice to do in the evening. So we're going to start down in child's pose. So taking the knees a bit wider, maybe mat width, bringing the big toes together, and then take the hips back towards the heels. Start to reach the arms out in front and just release the forehead down towards the mat. If the head's hanging, you can always place one hand on top of the other and just release the head down onto the hands or onto a block if you've got a block. And then just start to release any tightness and tension through the shoulders, releasing into the hips, the knees, just closing off the eyes, taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose. So with the knees wide, it just allows the belly to release down between the legs. So as you inhale, just expanding, and then exhale, release. So sending the breath to the back and the sides of the body, lengthening and expanding on the inhale, and then softening, releasing, letting go on the exhale. Letting go through the physical body and also through the mind. So not holding on to any thoughts, just acknowledging them, letting them go, coming back to the breath. Taking one more deep breath in through the nose. And then as you exhale, just pressing the hands into the mat, starting to lift the hips, coming up to a nice, easy all-fours position. So we'll take a bit of a figure of 8 stretch. So taking the shoulders over the wrists and then taking the hips over the heels and then coming back, making that figure of 8 shape over the wrists and then hips over the heels. Just releasing through the body, finding a little bit of softness, and then taking it back in the other direction. Coming back to your all-fours position, keeping the hips over the knees, and then starting to walk the hands out to the corners of the mat, coming into extended puppy posture. So releasing the forehead down, releasing the chin or the chest, breathing in and out through the nose. And then starting to walk the hands back, take the hips back towards the heels, finding a child's pose. From child's pose, just lifting the torso and taking the left arm underneath the right, releasing the left ear down towards the mat. And then lifting back up, extending the left arm out in front and then threading the right arm underneath the left, palm facing up, and release the right ear down towards the mat. Taking the right hand out in front, coming back to your child's pose, and then pressing into the hands, lifting up to all fours. Tuck the toes under and start to walk the hands back towards the knees and coming into a squat at the back of the mat. So you might want to walk the feet out a little bit wider so they're at 10 to 2. And then bring the hands together, palms together, elbows in front of the inner thighs, just grounding down. So trying to lower the heels down towards the mat, opening through the hips. Releasing, just letting go. Shoulders are relaxed. Maybe taking a little sway, movement from side to side, coming up onto the toes, and then coming back, grounding the feet down towards the mat, lengthening through the spine. Release the hands down to the mat and start to lift the hips, coming into a forward fold, spinning the feet so they're parallel, and then fold over the legs, taking opposite elbows, gentle sway from side to side, releasing through the head and the neck. And then starting to release the hands, tuck the chin in towards the chest, take a slight bend of the knees, drawing in the belly as you slowly roll all the way up to standing. Just bringing the head up last. Heel toe the feet together, and then take a big step forwards with the left foot and spin the feet round so they're parallel and just about underneath the wrists. So take the arms out to the sides, and then as you exhale, folding forwards, maybe taking hold of the big toes with the first 2 fingers and the thumb. Don't worry if you can't, just release the hands down onto blocks or onto the mat, and then folding forwards, sending the tailbone up towards the sky, elbows out to the sides, weight coming into the front part of the foot. And then release the toes, walk the hands in front, and then start to take the hands out in front, coming into a wide downward dog. So pressing down through the hands, releasing the head. And then walking the hands back in towards the feet, turning the fingers away from you, and if you can, start to walk the hands between the legs, so walking the hands towards the back, and again sending the crown of the head down towards the mat. Bring the hands back to center, and then coming down onto the bottom. So what you can do, you can walk the hands back in and start to slide the legs wide, slowly sit down, or just come down with the knees bent. So taking the left hand across the body, just take a side stretch over to the left. And then bringing the right arm up to center, crossing the right arm across the body, and then left arm reaches up and over. Coming back to center, and then walking the hands out in front, releasing the head, releasing through the shoulders, breathing in and out through the nose. Just coming to your own position that's comfortable for you. So not straining or stretching, just working with your body, and then starting to walk the hands back in towards you, bringing or taking the hands underneath the thighs. So you draw the feet in and then release the hands down in front, and again just release the head and the neck. Lifting all the way back up, taking the hands behind you, and then drop both knees over to the left side, keeping the knees at a sort of 90-degree angle, or you might want to draw them in a bit closer, and then walking the hands out in front. So a bit of a version of pigeon pose, but with the knees bent, releasing down towards the mat. Again, nice even breaths in and out, and then walking the hands back in towards you. Take the hands behind and just take some easy windscreen wipe movements with the knees, dropping them from one side down to the other, and then this time dropping them over to the right, sitting up again, either taking the knees 90-degree angle or more of a 45, whatever feels best for you, and then reaching the arms out in front, folding over that front leg. Coming back to the breath. And then walking the hands back in towards you. Take the hands behind, and again just drop the knees from side to side, windscreen wiping the legs. And then bringing the feet together, lengthening the legs out in front, removing the flesh from underneath the sitting bones. Reach the arms up to the sky as you inhale, and then as you exhale, just take a forward fold. Releasing the head, releasing the shoulders. You can always take the feet flat on the mat with the knees bent, hands underneath, and release the head. And then lifting the head, lifting the torso, bending the knees so the feet are flat on the mat, taking the hands behind you, and then just releasing the head back, opening the chest, the throat. Lifting all the way back to center. So shifting the hips up towards the heels, and then coming to lie down on your back. Bring the knees into the chest and then extend the legs up to the sky. If you've got a wall, you can always take the legs up against the wall. Breathing in and out. And you can stay with the legs as they are, or stay with the legs up against the wall, or you can take the feet over the head, coming into a plow pose. So hands come to support the lower back, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling, just tucking the elbows in. Chin stays still, head stays still. Taking a few breaths in plow pose, or option to bend the knees, take the knees either side of the ears, so you're blocking off one of the senses. Ear pressure pose. And then extending the legs. If the toes are touched down in your plow, release the hands. If they're not, then keep the hands against the back, using the hands as brakes, and slowly roll all the way back down onto your back. So hips drop down, and then slowly lowering the legs all the way back down. When the feet drop down, we'll move into a fish pose. So taking the hands underneath the bottom with the thumbs touching, shoulders are tucked under, and then pressing through the hands, lifting the chest away from the mat, and then releasing the head back, just gently releasing the crown of the head towards the mat, so not putting too much pressure on the head, opening across the throat, opening the chest. It's quite nice after the forward folds. And then when you're ready, bringing the chin back into the chest and slowly lowering all the way back down, removing the hands from underneath the bottom, coming into corpse pose Shavasana. So legs go wide, arms come away from the body, palms facing up, and just relaxing the body, closing off the eyes, breathing in and out through the nose. We'll just take a few breaths. And I'll leave you here in Shavasana, so you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me.